It's time to step up to the plate and start swinging for the fences. The official webcast of the MSBL and APN video. I'm your host, Jeff Lowery. We're coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona, which happens to be the home of the MSBL World Series. Swinging for the Fences is all about baseball and the nearly 50,000 members of the Men's Senior Baseball League. We'll hear their stories as they share their experiences while learning the importance of camaraderie. My guest today on Swinging for the Fences is the league president of the Detroit MSBL. He's also an active player. He's been playing for nearly 30 seasons, Mike Juliano. Mike, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me. It's good to be here. I'm excited to be a part of this. I think it'll be a good idea to get the guys across the country talking and let's just talk about baseball through this pandemic, and hopefully we'll all get on the field soon.
Mike, you've been playing since 1991. I guess this is your 30th season. You've been the league president since 1993. Congratulations. MSBL National named your league the League of the Month. That's got to be a great honor. And you guys started out, you had, 4 or 5 teams way back in the day, I think it was 1991, and now you're over 40 today.
Yes, we started out actually in 1988 with 4 teams. When I took over in 93, there were 7 teams, I believe, and now this year we do have 49, because I am pretty confident we will be playing this year. It's just a matter of time. So it'll be the most ever, so I'm pretty excited about that. In 5 different age groups, by the way.
Well, you talk about, growing up, you were a Detroit Tiger fan. What were some of the players that you kind of looked up to?
Well, in my age group, without a doubt, Al Kaline, the 68 Tigers were all great. Guys my age can probably still recite all of their, numbers on the back of their jerseys, but, Kaline, Horton, Cash. And then you get into, obviously, the 84 Tigers with, Sparky, Lou, Tram, Parrish, Gibson, those guys. So, being a lifelong, Tiger fan, you love to follow them, and then it just transpires into 2006, which was a great season when they went to the World Series and nobody expected them, even though they didn't win. It was a great season.
Yeah, my grandparents lived in Detroit for many years before they moved back down to Kentucky, where they were originally from. My grandfather, he worked at Chrysler, and I remember 1980 going to Tiger Stadium for the first time, and it was just a tremendous experience for me. Just how old that park is, and I think it used to be called Nevin Field back in the day.
Nevin Field.
Nevin
It's also
Field.
been Briggs Stadium, and then renamed Tiger Stadium. But you're right. As a kid, when you walk in and you walk through those tunnels and you see nothing but green. And when you're a kid, the structure looks so huge, the big light towers, everybody out in center field, and just the sights and the sounds, and the smells, the smell of the hot dogs, the sounds of, they used to sell those blowhorns. They probably did in many other stadiums, but they used to sell these horns that used to make a lot of noise. And I remember all of that, but you just walk out and it's like, whoa, it's like you're in a different, land. I mean, to me, being biased from Detroit, I don't think there's anything better than Tiger Stadium. I know I'll get a lot of arguments across the country, and that's okay. Yeah. But there was nothing like walking into Tiger Stadium.
It really was. It was a special time, especially going there with my grandfather, and seeing guys like Russ Staub, who was one of my all-time favorite players, and of course Trammell Whitaker. And it's ironic, I actually, guess whose autograph I got at that game? It was Danny Ainge as a Toronto Blue Jay.
Okay, all right. Yeah, he did play baseball, I think before basketball, right? Yeah.
Yes, right after his career at Notre Dame. So, well
that was a good one.
Yeah.
So I remember getting autographs as a kid. When I was young, they didn't sign autographs as freely as they did today.
No.
Like the very first autograph that I ever got was a guy from the Oakland A's. It was a pitcher, Diego Segui. that was the first autograph I had ever gotten, in my life, because I was sitting down there with my brother right by the bullpen, and all of a sudden I'm watching, and then this ball just drops, in my lap, and it was great. And also in an old program, way back from like 1968 or something, I have an autograph, but it was Jim Hunter, which Catfish Hunter.
Catfish Hunter.
He didn't sign Catfish back then. He was a rookie, and so he just signed it, Jim Hunter, which was cool. So I look at that. I still have all that stuff. So that's pretty neat.
Diego Segui, I think he was the starting pitcher for the opening day for the Seattle Pilots, and then 8 years later, he was the starting pitcher for the Seattle Mariners.
I did not know that. Yeah. That's okay. All right.
And I actually had his autograph because his son was playing out here at Scottsdale Community, or his grandson, I think, was playing at Scottsdale Community College. So,
okay.
So I don't know where it is. Somebody got it for me, and there's a little connection there. We're talking to Mike Juliano. He is the president of the Detroit MSBL, and you're watching Swinging for the Fences. This is our official webcast of the Men's Senior Baseball League, and this is kind of our pilot show. I wanted to ask you about some of the players. I was on one of these Cooperstown forums on Facebook the other day, and they're talking about, and there's like a buzz now that maybe the sports writers should start voting in guys that would normally not be voted in. In fact, I think they just want to kind of loosen it up a bit. Is there any players that come to mind, a short list for you, that are eligible for Hall of Fame but have not been voted in?
Well, again, I'm going to show my Tiger bias, and it's a very short list, but it would be Lou Whitaker. I think it's a travesty that he is not in. Him and Trammell and Jack Morris, for that reason, should have been in long ago, in my opinion. I mean, just for the accomplishments of, playing 20 years for the same team, Tram and Lou, a double play combination, for 20 years alone, that should have got him in. And then if you compare Lou's stats to other second basemen who are in, it's comparable. In some categories, he's ahead. In other categories, other players are ahead. Mm-hmm. I know the big thing they talk about is WAR, and I think he has one of the highest, WARs of any second baseman who is not in the Hall of Fame. So
interesting.
I would have to say, Sweet Lou. That's my very list. I hope the day comes that he gets to go in the Hall of Fame right next to Alan Trammell. So that would be my my very short list. I know I'm biased. I'm a Tiger fan, what can I say?
Well, that 1984 season was so special. And I guess one of the reasons I was kind of a Tiger fan, maybe they weren't my favorite team as a child, but that 84 team, I mean, they became my favorite team, and that was one of the most exciting teams. It reminded me a little bit of the Big Red Machine because they had every aspect of the game covered. And I think they started out, wasn't it like 35 out of their first 40 the games they won?
Yeah, they started out 35-5, which I don't know. Well, that may be something that could be beat in the future, but that's quite a run, for your home team. Just win and win night after night after night, and it was just a very exciting, team to watch. And it's too bad that they didn't go on, further for a few more years. But I guess they did come back and make the playoffs in '87. But 85, Toronto took them, and Toronto was actually a very good team that year. If you look, if it wasn't for that 35-5 start, Toronto may have won that division because they were a very good team back then.
Yeah, they were starting to come around, and I remember the Tigers had made a deal in '87 to bring Doyle Alexander over, and he went like 12, 13, 10-1, something like that, But unfortunately, they had to give up John Smoltz, a future Hall of Famer.
Yes, they gave up John Smoltz. But you know what? That's what happens. It worked out for the Tigers, that year, and there was no guarantee. No one, if the Tigers knew that John Smoltz was going to end up being who he was, they may not have traded him. But I guess that's what teams do, and you can probably go through other teams and find examples of guys who are traded away that ended up being, all-stars, Hall of Famers, things like that. It's just the business part of it. But Doyle Alexander did come in, and I think he won his first 9 starts, if I'm not correct, or something like that.
Yeah, it was something crazy. Yeah, absolutely.
But it worked out. It worked out pretty good for the Tigers that year to win the division.
You're watching Swinging for the Fences, our official webcast of the MSBL and the MSBL World Series. I'm Jeff Lowery, being joined here by Mike Juliano from the Detroit Men's Senior Baseball League. And, you know, Mike, one of the things I wanted to ask you is what is it about your league that makes you the most proud?
Wow. I would say the managers. The managers do a fantastic job. The managers and the guys that I have, helping me out, because, one guy just can't do it all on your own. You have to have good helpers. I get a lot of credit for a lot of things, and I tell guys, like, no, it's, I'm just the guy that writes the check or something like that, just the managers do a fantastic job. We have good players. We have, good umpires. You just got to put almost everybody in the category. I think we've done a pretty good job here in Detroit, but again, without my, helpers, I couldn't have done it. You could not have done this alone. There's just no way. So I'm proud of that.
Mike Juliano, the league president of the Detroit MSBL, joining us here. We're going to take a quick time out here, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the movie 61, in which Mike had a small part in, and we'll have all that coming up next on Swinging for the Fences. And it all comes down to this. The pitch is popped up on the infield. This should do it. Dan Gutierrez has it. And the Fort Worth Phillies are MSBL World Series champions. It's that time of year, October, in the Grand Canyon State. It's time for the 2020 Men's Senior Baseball League's World Series.
Baseball is the common thread that brings us all together.
Players from 18 to 80 will participate in one of the premier baseball tournaments in the world.
Makes a diving catch in left field.
Well, I think it helps you to stay relatively young, and also it's the camaraderie and the friendships you make and keep over the many years.
Let APM Video capture all the great moments of your team's World Series experience with a broadcast-like play-by-play video, which features a professional sportscaster calling your game. In the air to center field, Eric's got it, and the Atlanta Barons are national champions in 2018. Each video includes complete game coverage shot in high definition. An ESPN-like pregame segment featuring interviews with your team.
If you want to have a real keepsake, a memento for your games out here at the World Series, Jeff does a great job, and it's well worth it. Highly recommend it.
Split the cost of production with your opponent and save big time. Reserve your game with APN, any stadium or practice field, on video, or choose live streaming. Go to the MSBL National website each day for the Marucci Big Play of the Day. The baseball capital of the world is the Valley of the Sun as it hosts the 2020 Men's Senior Baseball League's World Series, starting October 18th. All right, welcome back to Swinging for the Fences. Mike Juliano is my guest here today, and before we get to the movie 61, I just want a little blurb here for the MSBL. If you want more information about joining a great organization, the Men's Senior Baseball League, or for that matter, the Detroit MSBL, if you live in the Detroit area, you can go to msblnational.com. Now, do you guys have your own website that they could go to directly, or are you sending everybody to the National?
No, we do. DetroitMSBL.com is our website.
Okay.
And guys can go there, and they can register for our upcoming draft. When that's going to be this year, no one knows. I keep extending the date. We're going to play baseball in 2020. I keep telling that to Steve Sigler. We're going to play in 2020. It's just a matter of when.
You know, I had a gentleman call me the other day from the Seattle area, and they are making plans to start, and this was last week, so he said 2 weeks. So they were looking to start right around June 1st.
That's encouraging. Unfortunately, here we have a stay-at-home order, which has been extended to May 28th. If everything starts getting lifted on the 28th, optimistically, by the end of June, hopefully, at least that's what I'm hoping for. But, time will tell. It's kind of out of our control. We have to wait and see what the state is going to do, and they have to increase, the gatherings, which right now I think it's 10 here in Michigan, and we got to go from there. We hopefully, we're going to get through this COVID thing, and as soon as we do, we're going to get on the field. I know all of the managers, they're ready to go. It's just a matter of, we also want to keep safety in mind also. So we're probably going to do a few things differently this year than we've done in the past.
Mike, talk about your involvement with the movie 61. It's been out for a long time. I forgot the year it came out. Was it like 2004, 2005 maybe?
I think it was earlier than that, actually. I think
okay.
I'm thinking it was 2001 or 2002. But anyway, obviously the movie 61 was shot in Old Tiger Stadium. The Tigers were gone. They were already at Comerica Park, so it must have been 2000, 2001, when they were shooting the movie. I tried to, wanted to get the word out to all the MSBL players to go down there for the casting call, which was held on a Saturday. But then, lo and behold, the news media got a hold of it, and I think there were over 1,000 guys, that were down there that day trying out. They did have 2 separate lines for the general public and MSBL, which was kind of cool. And so quite a few guys in our league did get selected to play parts and roles, in that movie. I was called, but the day I was there, I went down there for one day. I was supposed to be the Boston Red Sox manager. You go through, makeup, and they cut your hair, and they give you the uniform and all that other stuff like that. And then you just wait around until your number is called. And the day I was there, they were filming the scene where Roger Maris hit his 61st home run. I really never did anything. There was myself and I think 3 other guys. We were all in uniform. Got there about 7 in the morning. Didn't leave until 2 in the morning. We did get paid for it, but again, my scene was never shot, and basically it was just, we were told just hang around in case we need you. So that was it. But again, we had some guys that were on different teams when they did different scenes, and guys that played the field, and I think one of the other guys was a third base coach on that scene, and quite a few guys in the league. So it was very interesting to see how they make movies if you've never been a part of that. It was a good experience to be down there that day.
Well, you were saying before we went on the air, you were saying that it took them so much time to shoot the actual home run number 61 that Maris hit to set the all-time single-season record.
Yeah, that scene actually went on all day long. They would set up. They would check different things. They would do shots from this way. Then they would tear down, and then they would set up again. Then they'd go to lunch, and then the crew would come back and set up again. It was just, amazing how they were doing it. And it's like everything was done in slow motion. Like the pitcher, the Red Sox pitcher, he was not throwing a ball. He was doing all the motions like he was throwing a ball. And Barry Pepper, who played Roger Maris, he would swing the bat, but he wasn't hitting a ball. And then when you watch the movie, the stands are full, but there was nobody out in the outfield. Behind on the first base dugout side, there was maybe 100 people that they had there as extras. So when he hit it, they would want the people to clap, but they're not clapping. They're just doing one of these.
Just mimicking it, yeah.
Just mimicking that, and again, and then it would cut, and then they'd do the scene again, throw this, do that, and then they'd have a scene with him running around the bases, slowly, and it wasn't how they wanted it, so then he'd have to run around the bases again, and it was just very, very interesting how they did that. And then when you watch it in the movie, what is that scene? Maybe 5, 10, 20 seconds, and that took so many hours, to shoot that scene, which was great that day.
Which, of course, was the pinnacle moment of the movie because it's named 61. And I know Steve Sigler was in the they had bonus footage available. I guess it was a DVD or a VHS. I don't remember. 2001. I guess we did have DVDs back then. And Steve was all over. Steve's the founder of the Men's Senior Baseball League. And it was just kind of cool to see some familiar faces on that bonus reel.
I do have the DVD, but I have never watched the bonus reel, but I think I know what I'm going to do tonight since we're all stuck at home and we've got nothing to do. So, I think I know what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to check out that bonus reel. I've never seen it.
How about that?
That'll be good to see.
Yeah, I thought the movie was a great movie. I thought they did a nice job, and it's amazing what Roger Maris went through to set that record. I mean, there was a lot of stress, and they even claimed that I think he lost his hair because of the stress of probably the reporters, and I think a lot of people did not want Roger Maris to break the holy Babe Ruth all-time record.
No, they did not. And again, if I remember correctly, I believe during that season, Mantle had 54 or 55 home runs, something like that, and I think maybe he was injured for some games that year. So I wonder let's say if Mantle wasn't injured, and if it was Mantle going for 61, I don't really think I think the people would have, embraced that because, Mickey Mantle was, Mickey Mantle. He was just like, Babe Ruth, a great player, so I don't maybe think the fans looked at Roger Maris like they did a Mickey. You gotta wonder about that. Well, if it was Mickey Mantle going for 61, how would they have reacted? But yes, you read all those stories, and Roger Maris. I heard that he got death threats, and it was the pressure and everything must have been just so stressful for him. It probably took a couple of years off of his career. Who knows?
Yeah, might have. And he had a couple of big seasons with the Yankees, and then ended up in Kansas City. I guess you could say the same about Henry Aaron. I mean, I think for Aaron it had to be tenfold worse with the death threats and all the letters that he received.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it with him. Yeah. I remember the day that he hit 715. It was during the day, and I think it was. I know I was watching it. I was watching it live. I can't remember if it was during the week or during the weekend, but I remember when he hit that. That must have been a load of pressure coming off of him. But he was always in the National League, so I really never got a chance to see him play. But then, before he retired, he actually went to play for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yes.
And so I was able to see him play at Tiger Stadium when he was a member of the Milwaukee Brewers. So that was kind of neat to be able to see him play. So that was good.
You're watching Swinging for the Fences here on APN Video, and just a reminder that, and we're getting ready to talk about the MSBL World Series we're planning to play. Of course, it's going to be all up to what this virus is going to do. But we like to remind you, if you're interested in a play-by-play video of the 2020 MSBL World Series, go to our website right here, apnvideo.com. You can reserve any game, whether it's an auxiliary field or a stadium, right here on apnvideo.com. Mike Juliano is my guest here. And Mike, I wanted to talk a little bit about the World Series and maybe the Fall Classic. I'm not sure which of the two that you normally go to. Well, I know you've been in Arizona quite a bit, but talk about the tournament has really evolved, I think, into, and we use the word camaraderie. I think back when we started, doing the play-by-play videos in 1996, 98, in that era, I think a lot of guys came down for baseball. But then as the tournament started to grow and pick up some steam, I think a lot of guys now come down. It's really to be with the guys, that camaraderie and the overall experience. It's not just about swinging a bat or pitching or fielding ground balls.
No, I think you're right about that. And if I can, steal a line from Tom Pendergast, one of the greatest benefits of the MSBL will be all of the friends that you meet, the stories and the memories that you can just talk about, year after year after year after year. But you are right. Camaraderie is a big part of it, and that's what I think brings a lot of guys back to the
out there.
Well, thank you. I like to think so. I told the guys when we changed our name and went to the Motor City Firebirds, I says, we're going to have the best looking uniforms out there. So it's just, again, it's a little biased there, but I like it. So our logo was designed by a guy that plays with us, and same thing with the jersey. So I like them. I think they look good.
Yeah.
But looking good sometimes doesn't make you win. So, but as long as you look good, that's the first part. You got to look good.
It certainly is. And your hat, is that the logo?
That is the logo.
Yep.
Yeah, that is the logo of our hats, and the logo that's on the sleeve of our jerseys.
Okay. Well, Mike, before I let you go, and we really appreciate you coming on to our actually, this is our first show. This is our pilot show, and we're hoping to have, I want to tell everybody, we're really hoping to have some ex-major leaguers on the show, maybe some MLB announcers, and certainly people like yourself that make up, nearly 50,000 members of the MSBL. So before we go, just tell us if anybody's lives in the Detroit area and they're interested in playing, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, they can go to our website, DetroitMSBL.com, and again, right on the homepage, you can register for the upcoming workout. There's also a frequently asked question page in there. You can also email DetroitMSBL@gmail.com. You can send an email or register online for the upcoming workout, which I have moved back to June 20th now, but again, it's just an arbitrary date. I don't know if we're going to have it before, it might be after it. It's very hard to say.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for being on our show, Swinging for the Fences, and that's going to do it for us. Just a reminder, if you're interested in playing MSBL baseball, when we come back, the website is MSBLnational.com. If you're interested in videos at this year's World Series, don't forget apnvideo.com. Well, we'd like to thank Mike Juliano. Mike, the best to you. Stay safe, and we really enjoyed it, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And again, everybody out there, stay safe, and let's get on the field soon. 2020 baseball. Let's go.
I think a lot of us are ready to do it. So, all right, well, that's going to do it for us here in Phoenix, Arizona. This is Jeff Lowery for Mike Juliano saying so long, everybody.
Who's played in our league promo.